skill, ability, interest.
Yes.
So what interests can you now turn into abilities?
You abandon what God has given you grace to do. It's important that you know what doesn't work for you. The generation after us now, they just see that somebody is doing something and that person is successful at it. You start struggling. That this guy does me too. I want to do it. Don't kill yourself.
A lot of us, we despise ourselves. We don't see ourselves for who we truly are. Most times, God will not necessarily go outside of yourself. He uses what you have.
What you have, yes.
To bring you out of whatever challenge.
Yes.
The sheep doesn't need to struggle. Just needs to relax.
Yeah, exactly. Hello everybody, welcome back to Beyond the Codes with IB Codes, and today I have a very special guest, right? My friend and my brother, Elijah, and I'm going to give him some time to introduce himself. First of all, I want to say thank you for finding time. I know for people that don't know, people don't know, but I know that today is a very is a very tricky day, right? At least for us to find this time to do this. Thank you so much for making time. Welcome.
It's a privilege.
Yes, welcome to the podcast. Daniel says hi. Daniel, say hi.
Hi guys.
Hi.
All right. So yes, please introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Elijah Oloninla. Right. I'm a designer.
A man of
I
God.
tend to, right. I tend to like dabble into a few things, right. I call myself a polymath, right. I have several interests. Of course, it's God, right. But career-wise, I'm a multidisciplinary designer, right. I work with brands. I work with products to actually design experiences that help to achieve their goals, meeting business goals, and also meeting user needs, right? Yeah. So that's basically.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let me see how we can even start this conversation. Okay. So let's start from the beginning, right? Because me, I'm a developer. I'm a developer, and I think the first designer I ever interviewed was Marvelous, and we didn't really get into like intricacies of design. So this is actually like a do-over for me, right? And also because I want the audience that's on, people that are watching this that are designers to be able to relate with some of the things that we say, even though it's not as if it's a strictly technical conversation, but I just want people to be able to relate with. Okay, it's a different thing when you are listening to someone that is a developer and you're listening to their perspective of things.
Yeah.
The different thing when you're listening to someone that is actually like a designer, someone that does what you do.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why we are doing this. So let's start from the beginning, right? I know you went to UI.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Where did you grow up? Let's start from there.
All right. Where did I grow up? I actually grew up in Lagos.
Oh wow. Okay.
In Agege.
Orile
Agege.
Oh God
Yes,
knows where that is. Orile
It's a
Agege.
very popular this thing
In Lagos.
Let me not just say some things that people will know.
Okay.
Where I'm from. It's all right. Yeah.
Okay. So you grew up in Agege.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you only came to Ibadan for university.
Yeah. I think that was that. It was school that brought me to Ibadan for the first time. I think so. Yeah,
Mhm.
school. It was UI.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. I can't remember any time that I actually came to Ibadan for anything.
Before
For
school.
school, yeah.
So you studied computer science. Why?
Oh,
So let's get into that.
I studied computer science, right? Backstory, right? I actually wanted to study computer engineering,
Okay.
and but prior to that time, secondary school days, I was saying I want to be a civil engineer, right?
Okay.
But having looked at things, I was really I understood how software work, right?
Yeah.
This is how I understand it now. Before, I didn't really understand what that was. So I understand how softwares work, how things connect. So, for example, people will bring me phones that I've never used before. They'll fix some certain things.
Yeah.
So I'll fix it. I've never really used the phone. I've never done before. But
But you just know your way around.
yeah, I just know my way around. I understand how things work, sort of. So I was like, okay, I think computer engineering would actually work when I became aware. So I didn't really understand it, right? So I tried Unilag, right?
Oh wow, okay.
For the first year, I tried Unilag, right? And then I didn't get an admission, right? I didn't meet with the cut-off mark. I never failed, right? I wrote Unilag post me twice.
Okay.
I never failed, right? And then the third one, a funny story, right? My UI post me was the least of my post me scores.
Wow.
And I actually
then you got into UI.
and I got into UI, right? But at that time, I changed to computer science actually. But still, yet the post-UTME score was the least, right? And I believe it's God's providence, right? Because a lot of things about me were not actually formed prior to coming to school, and God, the years that I spent at home, God used them to actually build me,
you,
right? Because I think if I gained admission immediately I finished secondary school, right, I might not have the opportunity to be here because there was no sense of purpose, there was no direction, sort of.
There's no sense.
There was no sense, sort of. Right. So those years really changed. It changed a lot.
Yeah. I think it's always, I like when we have conversations like this about how, even though at times things might not have gone the way you would have wanted them to go, but in retrospect, you will look back and say, I think I'm happy with the way it turned out. This is the hand of God. Yeah. So I always highlight this because at every point in time there are people that are currently going through something. Yeah. So it's just for you to know that, okay, like, as long as you have a right standing with God, trust me, God knows what is happening. Yeah. God knows what's happening, and He says everything works together. Everything works together. So that's nice. So you got into computer science, right? Yeah. So what was the journey like, right? From 100 level to 400?
Yeah, it was a really interesting journey actually because I got to do several things aside academics, right? But I was always an excellent student. I taught for several years after school. I taught math, I taught physics, I taught chemistry. So I was kind of a very good student.
Oh.
So I came into UI with that, yes, let's continue this thing, right? And then, right, but I really performed well, but there were certain things that were not, let me not just say some things, that there were certain things that were not a true reflection of who I believed I was, right? Yeah. Especially my marks. You know, I did physics, I did two physics. One score was looking like me, the other was looking like something else, and I was confused, right? Yeah. But really, it was, I can say that those 4 years really transformed me, made me who I am today, right? I served in fellowship. I worked as a student. I worked in my... After IT, I started working as well. Final year, I worked. I served all through. I served all through school, like in church, in fellowship. Yeah. Served, and I also participated first year, even though I didn't want to actually contest for a political post, right? But I still found a way to actually. I believe in balance, so I tried to add a little bit here and there all through school. So it was a really good one.
That's very nice. Let's talk about because you mentioned internship. What was your internship experience like? I want to come from a perspective of how did you even get where the place, like your internship? How did you get your internship placement? Okay. I'm trying to balance some of these things because we've interviewed somebody, one of the guests, John, that came. John did not study computer science, right? And I'm trying to make sure that, okay, the different kinds of audiences that we have, right, they find something to relate, something that's related to their own story. So there are people that transitioned, right, and we've discussed that with John's situation, but there are also people that are currently in school right now studying computer science, right? What was your own process, or what was your own journey in terms of like getting IT placement?
All right. To not like think about it too far, then I had the skill. So that's where I began with. I had the skill. At that time, I was already designing.
Okay.
I was quite good at that time, right? But I needed to be better, right? The internship was it. So I just looked at it. That was my skill. So I needed to find somewhere I could actually use my skills. Like I said, I was serving all through school. I could not leave Ibadan. I had to stay in Ibadan because I was an executive in my fellowship, right? I was serving. So I had to stay in Ibadan. So I thought, where can I do this? So I spoke to a friend, right? You know, his name is Joshua Debaya, right? He's one of my really great brother that I'm really grateful for. I dumped my design skills for many years.
Okay.
And then I saw him designing in the library one day, and then I saw his design. I really loved the design. And then that sparked my design interest
again.
Started designing again, right? So I spoke to him that, does he have contact? CC is based in Ibadan, right? Does he have contact? And then he connected me with somebody, right? Then we spoke, and then I went there. So I sought for my interview placement by myself, right? By just speaking to somebody. It was not as if school gave me that placement. So, right. Rarely does school actually give computer science student placement. Most people actually seek for them. But in few cases, there are some people who get to serve within school. I know one of my mates that served in school actually. So for me, I sought for the placement myself. I went there. They interviewed me. I think I did about 3 rounds, and I did a task. They asked me to design, to show them what I can do.
What you can do, yeah.
And then I did, and then they really loved it. And then I negotiated salary as an intern.
Oh, more.
No, you guys were paid. Now you guys were paid. I know how much I was paid compared to my mates. And some of my mates, I know how much they paid. Really, I way higher, right? It was really a breakthrough for me at that moment that I could really use my skill to actually get to be rewarded.
You get paid for something you do.
So that was like a really serious breakthrough for me, because all through the IT period I was paid. So I was in school. People were on break. I was still there. I was there. Yeah. So that was how I actually got the placement.
That's very cool. Because I want to highlight that aspect of the fact that you add a skill.
Yeah.
I went for a speaking engagement one time, and some people came to meet me, because you know how it is at time when you go for speaking engagement. So someone will come to you, I have this problem, and one of the people that reached out to me was a student. So she does mobile development, and then she was like, she's seeking internship placement. And I asked her, okay, what can you do? Or what have you done? And the next thing she would say was that, they taught us this, they taught us that. Like, auntie, if you are still in that group chat of what they taught you, you are not ready to get internship. You are not. And this was, and now from your own experience, that you're sharing now, this was like 4 or 5 years ago, or how many years ago now?
That's over 7
years ago. Like, this is a long time. And now that things are now, I don't say things are worse, but things have gotten more interesting, right? What do you think? How do you think people that are in school right now can distinguish themselves? Because now, for you now, because of the skills you had, I don't know exactly what level, but I would say like it wasn't that good, even though you were designing.
Yeah.
And now that we have all these AIs and stuff, I'm not sure with that same skill you had, you'd have gotten placement now. So what would you say to someone that is in school right now and let's just assume that person is in 200 level, and let's say next year they are looking to apply for internship? What are the things you would say that person should focus on?
Awesome. I actually answered this similar question to this last week. I was at a meeting, a speaking engagement last week, where I answered a question similar to this, right? And like I said earlier, the beginning is the skill. That's where it starts from, right? You know, for every problem there is always what you have at hand.
Yeah. So
the truth is this: a lot of us we despise ourselves. We despise ourselves. We don't see ourselves for who we truly are. And most times, God will not necessarily go outside of yourself to help you. Most times, actually, He uses what you have.
Yes,
to bring you out of whatever challenge.
Yes.
You know, Scripture says that there is no common temptation. There's no temptation that is not common. Right?
Yes.
Out of it, He creates a way. Yes. So he creates a way out of it, right? So you have to start with yourself. What skills do you have? Even if you think you don't have a skill, what abilities do you have? Okay, if you don't have abilities, what interests do you have? So we can nail it down: skill, ability, interest. Yes. So what interests can you now turn into abilities? What abilities can you now turn into a skill? And what skill can you now make or refine to actually become payable or valuable as a person?
Yes.
Right. So you just have to start from that foundation. What can you do? You know, I saw a friend yesterday who studied microbiology.
Yeah.
who is now working with BBC Africa
Oh well.
as a journalist.
How?
She did microbiology, right? And then now she's working with BBC as a journalist.
Wow.
No connection, right?
Connection, yes.
But wait, the leveler for her was a skill. She could write. She loved writing, and that was a leveler. So she took up that skill, refined it,
Yeah.
learned better, right? And then she became valuable to the point that she has actually worked with big companies. She has worked with Big Cabal, worked with GST, and then now she's with BBC Africa, right?
Nice.
So
Wow.
it's all the foundation or the starting point or the origin is actually the skill.
The skill.
If you don't have a skill, remember what abilities, what
Yeah.
interest.
Mm.
So that can now, and then of course the God factor.
Yes.
God factor is in the God factor is God is always the truth is this. You know, there are very, very few, just to say something along the lines of how do you get to know what to actually
What you do, yes.
to do,
Yes.
what area to go to. See, there are very, very few persons that would see vision that my son go and do this.
Yes.
Or have a dream
Yes.
that my son.
Mm.
Sometimes it's just you knowing that
Yes.
it's
Yes.
what you should do.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's just that God has planned your life.
Mm.
For me, if I told you that I started designing at GS3,
Wow.
like GS as a junior school, if I finished my
Yes.
junior secondary school exams then, and then I finished, and then there was that interest to learn computer. I didn't even say that I want to learn design. I told my parents I want to learn computer.
Learn computer. Yeah, that's what they call it then.
Yeah, and then they didn't take me to a computer center. They took me to a printing press,
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
full scale printing press, where there were three shops or three sections, right? Where there was the design place, and then there's the people who in printing will understand it's lithography, and then they'll do the lithography, and then they will now take to printing. You know, there are different printing methods now. So that was what I was taking to as a GS3 student, someone that just finished GS3, and that's where my design journey actually started. I never knew that that's what I was going to actually be doing now,
Now.
and that's as far back as 2010.
Okay.
That's over 15 years ago.
Yeah.
How that God had planned my life before I realized. So that's why it's some of us we fidget, we are too afraid, we are pressured, we are too concerned about our life, forgetting that we never owned our life. God owns it. And so if we are his, then he will direct us. You know,
Yes.
the sheep doesn't need to struggle. It just needs to rely on the shepherd.
Exactly.
Just needs to rely on the shepherd, right?
Yes.
So that was it for me. I never really planned that I was going to be a designer. I was even thinking I was going to. At some point, I struggled, right? You know, we had to code. Right?
Yeah.
I thought I would be a mobile developer. I thought I was actually interested in mobile development. I picked up Java. So I was learning Java. I was learning Android.
Yeah.
Right? I was using Android. At some point I was exploring Kotlin too. Right? But at some point I just realized that looking at my future, looking at what I see that my future, I don't think I was
This not the way.
sitting with code so long, right? I know code grinds you to a place, and I know that really I will not be someone who would. I'm interested in a lot of things. I like to dabble into a few other things, right?
Yes.
And then this thing that God has actually blessed me with all planned for me. I went back to it. Although I had started doing it, but I focused more on it as what I was going to do. So I was refining it all through school. All through school. So someone who doesn't have any skill, who is thinking about what should I do, starts from that.
Exactly.
Refine the skill. Keep refining it. You are not there yet, right? But of course, as you refine it, you begin to command some level of results or some level of value. There will be inflow. People start paying you for that skill. People start rewarding you. You start getting salary, start getting jobs, right? Start getting awareness. Even before, beyond the awareness self, the awareness self is actually a reward at times. You know, some people contest that you do volunteer as a tech person. Should you volunteer, right? I don't know. Maybe you plan for us to double into it, but let me just chip it in. Should you volunteer, right? Yeah, it's if that is what you can actually do at that point to get ahead, right?
Volunteer.
Yeah, because volunteering actually helps to sharpen your skills, to sharpen you as a person. So that's a reward too. So it's not all about money. For some of us, some people got money first, right? But the journey is not always the same.
Exactly. It's not always the same.
So it's get the skill, refine it, and then the journey begins. There are a lot of other things. The journey just begins.
That's a there's something I was going to say. Yes, I think from your story about how like you wanted to even dabble into mobile development and stuff, it's important that you know what doesn't work for you.
Exactly.
Right? Because the, our own generation now, of course, or the generation after us now, those ones, they just see that somebody is doing something and that person is successful at it, and then you abandon what God has given you grace to do.
Yeah.
You start struggling. That this guy does, me too. I want to do it. I want to do it. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. It's important. Let's get into. I want to know about your first. I want to ask about your first paid job.
Okay.
Hope it's not aside your internship.
Aside my internship, right? Aside my internship. Okay, after I actually finished the internship, right?
Yeah.
I was retained.
Yes.
So I continued designing for them.
Designing.
So the company, the owner of the company, the CEO of the company then would send me designs I would do. Right. But of another job I took officially was in the final year. I just said I was going to stretch myself, right? Even though I was serving, I was the president of a fellowship.
Yeah,
my faculty fellowship, right? Also the president of my department. But I just said I was going to stretch myself. So I started searching for a job. I don't know how God just made it. I saw a job and I applied. Do you know where the job was? The job was just close to UI, actually. Ventura, opposite Ventura.
Oh, okay.
That was the road where the job was then, very close. And then, so I applied. I went for the interview and we discussed. And then they felt I was a stronger candidate to other persons. I believe that other persons that applied were not students. But I was still a student in my final year then.
Yeah.
And then they believed I was a stronger candidate, right? And then they employed me. They employed me, right? And we got talking, and that was the other job that actually started paying me at that time. So I was making some fairly good cash, right? Even prior to then, at 200 level, I told my parents not to worry about pocket money.
Pocket money.
Like, from 200 level, I just said they could send me food stuff because my mom was a trader, so she would send food stuff. But pocket money, I never called them that send me money or something. Once they paid my school fee, once they send me provisions, I was okay. So that was like my first paid job then.
That's nice.
Thank you.
What is one piece of advice you think? What's the best piece of advice you've gotten?
The best piece of advice
as regards in career.
As regards my career, wow, that's really an hard question. An hard question. Let me look at it. You know, one thing about me is I learn by observing.
Observation.
I learn by observing a lot. I learn by, because at times you don't have access to people who you desire. You see that they have the same level of results. At times you don't have access to them, right? But I think I've learned from a lot of persons, right? But I think the greatest advice that I've actually learned or that I've gotten is to learn how to actually sell.
True.
How to sell.
Awesome.
How to sell. Because I think that transforms whatever it is that you do. Either you run a business, either you have a skill. It's that advice to learn how to actually sell. Because that is what commands value for you.
Yes.
Because if you have a skill and you are not able to sell the value of that skill,
yes,
you can't get the reward.
Even someone that has something that is not as much as you, will earn more.
Right? So I think that was a transformation point for me. Like I said, I started designers way back. I never made money with design, even though I could design relatively good stuff at that time. I never made money. But when I started learning that it's important to actually begin to be able to sell yourself, to communicate your value, right, to position yourself, things began to shift for me. Things began to shift. I can say that like it was a big multiplying factor. So whatever design I could do, right, if I was not able to sell it, some person says that the known always beats the best.
Yes. If
you are not known,
if you are the best and we don't even know you.
You don't even know you. You are the best kept secret. You don't know how are you able to actually get value or exchange, right? Like
true.
Have or work for somebody. You are not known. So they won't even think about you. So that was the beginning of the transformation for me, right? Knowing how to sell, knowing how to actually package my skill to be something that people actually really value. I think that was the best advice.
Wow. So I hope I know someone needs this because I think this is something that even for myself at the beginning of my career, I wish I had known about this earlier.
I must tell you, like, there was a long, from 2010 to 2016, that was like 6 years
Yes.
before I started realizing this.
Realizing.
6 years off. And then after that 6 years, within 1 year, 2 years, I started
Yeah, just
seeing
seeing
results at a different scale, at a really different scale. I think that really multiplies a lot.
Wow. So learn to sell yourself. Learn to sell yourself. Learn to sell yourself. Okay, so yes, I want to get into the different aspects of design that you do, because I will not lie. I used to, at some point, I thought it was brand design, and then after some time I saw you do some things. I was like, okay, maybe I was mistaken, so maybe it's product design. So now it's as if, okay, it's both, and then there's even more than that. How many things do you do as regards design?
As regards design,
Yes.
all right. There are quite a lot, right? You know, the truth is, a lot of designers actually try to experiment in different areas. But I, as a person, I like varieties. I like to try new things. I like challenges. I like pushing myself, right? And some of the steps that I've also taken were also economic steps, economic decisions. You know what I mean by economic steps?
Yes. I understand.
Yeah, you get
Understand.
right. So I started off with graphics as a graphic designer, right? I could design flyers then, and then I moved into brand identity design, where I create logos.
Okay.
So, and then I saw that.
Sorry. So you are telling me now?
Yeah.
That graphics design is different from brand identity design.
No, it's under it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. You know, graphic design is actually really wide.
Okay.
It's a branch of design, or let's say design, right, that focuses on using visuals to actually communicate.
Okay.
Visuals to communicate. So anything that revolves around that is graphic design. So there are a lot of branches under it.
Under graphics design.
So when you see somebody using a specific name, so it's a niche within graphic design.
Okay.
So you see brand identity designers or brand designers. You see illustration artists or illustrators.
Yes.
You see motion designers. It's also under graphic design. You see packaging designers.
Yes.
Publication designers.
I mean, I'm just hearing those ones, but yes.
Yeah. Publication designers, they focus more on magazines. They design publications.
Okay.
Either digital or, Forbes publications, right? HBR, they focus more on those. They are niched down, right? So that's, and then there's illustration. I know maybe you know illustration.
Yes, I know illustration. Yes.
Yeah. So motion is also there. But so I've actually played around most of these things. As a graphic designer, I've done a lot of stuff: publication design, packaging. I've done quite a lot of this. Even in my early days as a designer, right? When I started designing, I worked at a printing press, right? People come around and request for some of these things.
Yes.
So yeah. And that was actually maybe part of what formed my idea of what design was, because I could do several things. So I was not just designing flyers. I could design paper bags then.
Oh wow.
Paper bags, right? Then, like as far back then. Maybe the quality was not as good as
now. I mean, obviously.
Those are the things. So illustration, I still where I work currently, I do illustrations. And I still actually do product as well.
Okay. Yeah. So wait, to get it clearly, you do so at the moment.
Yeah.
In terms of like, because if I want to, let's say,
I like to let me make it. I like to capture it with brands and products.
Okay, brands and products.
Yeah. So anything that concerns brand, design for brands. So talk of brand identity design, logo. Talk of brand visuals or communication design, and the packaging, right? And the right. What other thing? Maybe motion, but I don't dabble into motion a lot right now, because I just like to pen it aside. But I've done some things along that line. But when it comes to product, I do a lot of stuff. But beyond the design, I actually also dabble into strategy.
Okay.
Where we are able to actually guide brands or businesses from where they are to where they want to be through strategies, through tactics, or whatever decisions they need to actually make.
I see.
Yeah, we define the positioning and then all of those things. So I dabble into that. And then I also started to see that, there's an intersection, right, of strategy in product as well. So there's product strategy.
So there's
brand strategy. So I tend to dabble into those things, right? But as a product designer, right, you need some of these elements. You need to be able to create strategy around whatever product you're actually designing.
Yeah.
Not just the UX, not just the user experience. Now, it's backed by strategy, whether business strategy, whether product strategy. You are trying to attract the user or appeal to the user in certain way, right?
Yeah.
So that's just it. So just to give you a summary, brands and products.
Brands and products. Nice. Wow. Brands and products. Okay. But okay, if you had to pick one of this,
which one would I pick? I think at some point I would leave design. Our approach phase from a global point of view, sort of, where I'm able to use design as an execution of my ideas or whatever strategy. I like to think. I like to plan. These are some of, like, that is where my greatest strength is.
Yeah.
Although I design very well. I'm an excellently good designer, right? Designer, right?
Yeah.
But where I enjoy more is actually solving problems. So thinking about it from a business point of view. So if I would pick one, that's the part I would pick, where I now have designers who execute for me. Right. So that's just it.
So is it safe to say, because one of the questions I like to ask also is that, what's your eventual, like, let's say what's your long-term goal? Right, career-wise.
Awesome.
So is that what you just gave me?
Yeah, I gave you a hint of it. That's consultancy, actually.
Consultancy.
I see myself consulting for brands, like big brands. I really believe God is actually going to help me with that. But that is where I see myself. So I'm just kind of preparing for that phase.
For that phase. Yeah. I always tell people, and I like what you just said, because just yesterday, I had one virtual event, and I was telling the students how. So whenever I have the chance to speak to maybe people in boot camps, students in schools, I always tell them that what they are teaching you, even though it looks like they are teaching you syntax, semantics, what they are teaching you. So I tell them two things. What they are teaching you is how to learn, not necessarily the syntax.
Exactly.
Right? It's just coming in this form, because your whole tech journey is a journey of learning.
You learn a lot.
The day it stops, just forget your career.
Exactly.
Then number two is that companies don't hire you because they are short of code. No. it shouldn't matter. So whatever it is you are doing, it's to the end that you can solve problems. Right? That's why I like what you're saying, because at some point, I believe everywhere. I don't know what everyone has planned for their career, but I also want at some point in my life or in my career that it's not just code I'm writing. Yeah. The code is just the implementation part, and it is a level in the ladder, but that is not the peak of the ladder.
Yeah.
There are some people that have done the strategic thinking of the solution. Yeah. All you are doing is you are getting it and you are implementing it. So if you are really ambitious, you should aim to get to that top where you begin to consult. I actually listened to Mr. Leke Alda.
Yeah,
that man is
I expect him a lot. He has done indelible work.
The man is awesome. And they were talking about how the consults for big, like when I say big, I mean big multinational firms have problems and they'll call them to come and solve. Like, my mind, I was like, this is exactly what God had in mind when he said we should come and do it. Like, like God, you get
deploy solutions that just
the kind of wisdom that even unbelievers will be like, they can't but just call you. Like, they might not like maybe your faith, but because there's no other place they can get that kind of wisdom and solution, they will be forced to call you. So that's just to encourage people that beyond I see it as, God forgive me, but I see it as crumbs. Honestly, there was a time. Okay, I went for one conference and he was speaking and he talked about this whole pyramid thing.
Yeah,
how a lot of us are still at the bottom of that pyramid, and at the top of that pyramid, if you look at the giants of industries, they are not usually much at that top. Yeah. That's why that is like this. They are not much there. Yeah. So if you are really ambitious, right? aim to live all these ones, and it's at this level that we're going to be having certain discussions that don't even matter. Like people are striving to get higher in their career. You are talking about things that don't matter.
The things that they talk about there is totally different.
It's different. It's the way they see life.
They are not talking code.
They're not.
They're not talking code. They are not talking design. They are talking different things.
You think when you go to pitch your company at YC, you think is the kind of language you're writing and you're asking there. Yeah. Like they know that for you to implement this thing, you are going to have to write code. But trust me, they really couldn't care less exactly how you get it done. What they're interested in is in the strategies, your marketing strategy, your business model. These are the things that really matter. This thing is let me get ahead of myself. Let me just because I think about it at times that God, this one of my friends told me. He said that his own plan is that he wants to get to that point where, yes, the skills he has now, he's able to earn money, he's able to do this, buy some things and all, but he wants to get that point where he's that guy that can always make money. Always. Regardless. You think all these big CEOs, if they were not doing what they are doing, if they were doing something else, they would have been successful.
Exactly.
Honestly, it's not really about the thing they are doing.
That flexibility, that malleability, that
malleability.
Can bend yourself.
Exactly.
It's not easy to actually come by. It's having a growth mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
It's having a growth mindset where I was also seeing another person that I respect so much in that line of things is I just forgot his name, PK. Right?
Yes.
I just forgot his
name. So which of the PKs?
Olakule Shorian.
Okay. Yes.
I respect him a lot, right? He said like, the things you do are not going to be consistent. They will change. Exactly. Things change. Look at how the world is. The world we have now is not the world we used to have.
Yes.
Things will change. And if you are not ready to actually change, you'll be left behind.
Exactly.
So we have to have that growth mindset, malleability. That we should expect change.
Yeah.
We expect change and actually live in change. That's important.
All right. So I'm trying to see how we can round off, but what would you say about, what is your opinion on work-life balance? Because I remember I asked Marvelous this same question the last time we were discussing. What is your own opinion? Especially, just tell me your opinion. Let's just start from there. What is your opinion on work-life balance? Do you believe that maybe at different seasons in your life one would take precedence, or do you believe that at every point they should always be balanced?
Okay.
Yes.
Apologies, please.
Yes. Sure. So because the reason why I'm saying this is that you see people like. You see people that are already successful.
Yeah.
And the level at which they still work, even with the success rate
that they have achieved.
Honestly, that thing changed my own mindset because I just couldn't understand. Like, okay, the whole reason of working hard is to be successful.
Yeah.
When they are successful, calm down now. Like, calm down. People are not calming down.
Wow.
I don't understand. And then you see some of our people that we are still at the bottom of the pyramid, and we don't shout work-life balance, right? What is your own opinion on it?
When I think about balance, I think people have a misconstrued idea of balance. Balance is not 50-50. Balance is not doing things equally. And balance is dependent on time and season. What is balance now?
No.
It's not what balance tomorrow. What's balance tomorrow? So you need to be aware of the certain seasons you are in, or what is more important about that. That's why, this is a really serious thing I want to say.
Yeah.
People who just work all their day, all their life, they are always working. They always doing the next thing.
Yes.
I believe that they will not be able to perform optimally because they are not able to sit and reflect on how their life is actually
yes
and that is really big. That is really so. Work-life balance, you need to actually think, what do you want out of life? What is important at this phase?
Yes.
So that is how to actually really approach balance.
Work-life balance.
There's a time that you can work 24/7. Nobody will say nothing will be at stake. But there comes a time that if you work 24/7, something is at stake.
Exactly.
Something is at stake, right? And the truth is this: we need to be aware of the interconnectedness of life. Life is crazily complex and interconnected.
Yeah.
One aspect unattended to can literally cause another part to fall and to crumble.
True.
Especially one, like I mentioned, health. If you don't take care of your health, every other thing crumbles.
Yes.
You cease to exist.
Yes.
You cease to exist. Once the health just finish, you are gone.
Yes.
You are gone. Right. So we need to be aware of how interconnected or complex actually life is, right?
Yes.
That is really, really important. So and once we are in that awareness, you are able, with God's wisdom, right, be able to understand what is important per time.
Yeah.
What is important per time. You will know when you need to actually prioritize family. You know when to prioritize maybe business. You know when to prioritize maybe your partner. If you're in a relationship, you know when to prioritize. If you're a student, you should know when to actually prioritize academics or deprioritize academics.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there came a time that I know you can relate to this, that we stopped class.
Yes, so
we're starting classes.
Yes.
We're starting classes because we knew that no, this is not the time to start.
Yes.
Right? The priorities changed. You know, I remember that I had to attend an event and there was a class that I was supposed to do. I confidently took that decision and I went. Right? Because I knew what was more important than that. So we need to actually be aware of what are the really crucial factors about my life at this point. But some things will always be consistent. Some things, God, your relationship with God will always be consistent.
Yes.
So that is priority. So if you want to achieve balance, that is number one. For me, that is number one. So I don't start my day by jumping on my system.
Laptop, yes.
I don't jump on my laptop. I have a time that I'm not online till a certain time. If I've not done this, I don't come online. That is balance, really.
Yeah.
Because you have set a priority that these things are important. Once I do this, then every other thing can actually be added. So once I study my Bible, once I have my fellowship with God, I can do other thing. And the truth is this gives me strength to be able to.
It does.
It gives me the confidence to approach whatever it is. That is the source of my strength.
Yes.
So I don't take strength from, I don't pride in my skill, my ability. I know that once, you know, some people don't know the crazy things that some of these people who are iconoclasts, who respect, do.
Yes.
Look here, that was a pastor, right? Although he isn't pastor at the moment. But he says he fasts.
Yes.
He says there are days that he fasts, that he shuts down, he doesn't talk to anybody.
Yes.
So these are things to actually prioritize. So your relationship with God, do you prioritize it? Finances. How well do you prioritize finances? That's a really crazy.
God will provide you.
Yeah, of course it's God that will provide, but there has to be a sort of balance.
Yes.
There has to be. You shouldn't. You know, talking about balance, you shouldn't spend more than you earn.
Yes.
That's a kind of balance too. Although it is not necessarily at a percentage. You shouldn't spend more than you earn. You should be able to actually keep back. That's a kind of balance. A certain percentage.
Yes.
So and there's a certain percentage that is no longer balanced for you at a certain phase.
Yes.
So if you have a child and you're not keeping part of your salary back,
exactly. You don't
have balance. You don't have balance. There's no work-life balance. Right.
True.
So that there just has to be that awareness. I can't say that this is exactly what it is. You need to be aware of your life.
Awareness.
See, the truth is, seasons come and seasons go. Seasons come and people who don't discern seasons, they suffer a lot.
They suffer. A lot of things will pass them by.
Yeah. You know, Scripture says in 1 Chronicles 2:20 that the children of Issachar, although they were small in number, they had the understanding of times and seasons, of the things that Israel both need to do. So it's not just that you know that this is the season of your life. You need to know what to do at that season. There's a season to build. There's a time to plant. There's a time to reap. There's a time to pluck up. So you need to be aware of that. You know, Ephesians was also saying that be not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is.
Yes.
Yeah, there are times that you can do some kind of stretches when it comes to maybe reading. Or when it comes to you staying out or going to, but there comes a time that you can't.
You can't do that anymore.
Right. But of course, the part of the just should be shine like. But the prioritization changes. But I must say that some things should be consistent. Whether you want to balance, you cannot. There are some things that should not be removed. If you compromise on them, your life crumbles.
It crumbles. Awesome. You already even. I have one last question. You already like even entered what I was going to ask as my second to last question, and that was about the relationship with God, and like because one of the things you said is that some things are non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Some things are non-negotiable. It's not. It shouldn't be a scenario where your job, whatever it may be, is now competing. God then has to compete. I mean, God cannot compete. Your job is competing with your time with God, right? You already have a problem.
Yeah.
That if that is happening, you already have a problem, and you need to retrace your steps, right? And I think people like the people that are listening should take a page out of the things you've said about like. There's a time where, like, when you wake up, for instance, there's a time that it is just you and God. There's a time that it's even just you and your thoughts. Just try to settle, because like this is what people do. People just wake up, grab phone and start scrolling. Your whole day that day is now reactive to the things you have seen, right? And I see this a lot. We were talking about ideologies. We were talking about ideologies earlier, and you open your phone like this. Is it certain type of ideology that you are pushing? And that's the ideology you are starting your day with. You can imagine, like that's how you are starting your day, right? So that's just to like I just to encourage people that if number one, if you are struggling, right, I mean, reach out to somebody. Reach out to someone. I was going to touch on community. Okay. In a very short, a few minutes, I want you to say something about like community, having been surrounded with the right set of people.
Yeah, there's this popularity of this idea of independence. It's a cliche. It's a cliche, really. There's nothing like that. There's nobody that is independent. You need people. God designed us to actually need people.
Yeah.
That was how God designed us. God designed us to always need people. So you definitely need people. And if you don't have people that are helping you, you need to find them.
You need
to find them. You need to find them. Take this advice. You need to find those set of persons that you can say that this set of persons, they will be there for you when you need them.
When you need
right?
them.
Different aspect of life, right? But spirituality, the community is very, very important.
Yeah.
It can actually really peg what you become. There's this idea in physics that I really love so much: resonance.
Oh yes,
resonance, right? A tuning fork, several tuning forks are vibrating.
Yes.
Sooner than later, all of them will be vibrating at the same frequency.
Yes.
That's resonance.
Yes.
So a leveler. So once you stay in a community, stay long enough, you begin to vibrate at that certain frequency. You begin to command result at that certain frequency. So the kind of results you really wish. So if you can get into communities that have that kind of results, sooner than later, if you stay, you begin to have that result. Community is really paramount. And if you say you want to actually be a one-man movement, yes, continue. There's just a limit to what you achieve. There's just a limit to what you achieve, because leverage is really key, and that's what community grants you. You're able to leverage. There's another idea in some of these things they just think it's science. It is life, really. Have you heard of the lever?
Yes, I've heard of lever.
The lever. With the lever, you can carry a weight that you cannot naturally carry. So once the lever is actually placed under that item, maybe something is weighing 100 kg, and you place it on a lever. With that lever, you cannot carry that in a, but with that lever, you can actually carry it. It multiplies your efforts. So leverage is a multiplier. So how communities like leverage. What the wisdom of another person, the network of another person, the privilege of another person, what someone else has been blessed, what someone else has labored for exactly. You're able to actually tap into access to it. And that's really beautiful, especially in the Christian faith. Where you have a community of believers, people who are like-minded, who are willing to actually help you. Especially in wisdom, people can call you to order. That's also community. Because at times we can go out of order. Don't think it that cannot go out of line.
They happen.
You will go out of line. You will go out of line. You need people to actually bring you back. That's the power of community.
Oh, thank you for that. And to add to what he said, he said the positive part. If you are keeping the wrong communities too, well, everything he said.
Yeah, applies.
Yeah, it applies, right? If you're that kind of person that all your friends, what they are doing, they don't give glory to God, and you're the only one that you are giving glory to God.
To do
it's a matter of time, like you said, resonance. You will resonate. you eventually resonate. So thank you for that. Last question: if you were not in design, if you were to go back, not even to go back, if you're not in design, what would you love to, or what would you have loved to be doing aside like design, anything design related?
That's really hard. Maybe I just focus on strategy.
No,
maybe I just focus on strategy, right? Maybe I just focus on strategy, because really there are people who are just strategists.
Yeah.
So they don't design; they're just strategists. They just formulate the comms strategy or marketing strategy.
Yeah.
So I'll just play in that line, right? There was a time I was really creating content for brand owners. So maybe I'll be speaking to brand owners, like helping them to actually grow, right? If I was not also designing, maybe I'll be a life coach.
Yes. Okay.
I love the idea of
that will work.
Guiding people. I really love it so much, because you are helping the next generation of people to become or to attain certain heights. You are reducing their struggle. You are resolving their struggle. So yeah, I think I consider life coach. At some point, I was actually thinking about it. I'm actually looking to build a page.
Yes, it might still happen. I mean, it will still happen.
Yeah, I already have that page, but I've not just started anything. Just to share certain things or ideologies or ideas or stuff that I've learned over the years, how to grow as a person in different areas, either spiritually or business.
Business.
Yeah. So that's just
that's cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Are you open to mentoring?
Yeah, definitely.
Because we are going to put your details.
Oh, okay. Of course, I mentor.
So
I'm open.
So if you are interested in any of the things that he has said, because there's a lot, you're interested in all these things, or any design related space or design related career, please feel free to reach out to Elijah, and I'm sure he's going to respond. Thank you once again, Elijah.
Yeah, I really appreciate the privilege. Thank you.
I'm sure the audience is blessed, right? That is the whole purpose of this, to promote the right mindset about purpose, about marriage, about career, about money, right? To like promote the right mindset, and I'm sure people would have gotten a lot from this. Thank you once again, and we are going to have you again, definitely, and very soon.
All right, soon. You can always call.
Yes, we are going to have you again.
Yeah, glad
maybe after your wedding, so to you and your wife. So thank you once again, and thank you everybody for listening in. We'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers. Well, that'll be all for today's episode. I hope this conversation resonates with you. I hope it challenged you, and I hope it has given you something valuable to think about as you navigate your journey. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click the like button, and also make sure to share with 2 or 3 people that you think would benefit from this content. The reason why we are doing this is to bless lives. The reason why we do this is to shift the mindset of people. This wouldn't be possible if we don't get this content out there. And also, if you have not subscribed, why? Answer me, why? I'm just kidding. I invite you to subscribe to the channel or on whatever platform you might be listening on. Make sure to subscribe so that this is one of the things you can do to encourage us to keep making good and quality content like this. And also, I invite you to drop your thoughts in the comment section. Your perspective really matters to me, and I am always excited to learn and to hear from you guys. Until the next time, keep building not just a great career, but a great life. I remain Ibiniyi Obikoya, also known as BeyondTheCode. Peace.